Neon green fire blooms on a snowbound highway, and something crawls out of the wreckage. No one can stop it, except Raigen, the angel of death. She's back, colder than ever, her bloodlust only beginning. This Christmas, the bodies stack up fast.
How did you get in here?
Ho, ho, ho. What's that? You want to be scared? Come with me. This is Weekly Spooky.
Hello, my spookies. It's Thursday, and we're getting ever closer to Christmas. So why not curl up tonight with a novella-length episode? And it has a familiar face to all the long-time spookies, and it may just be an introduction to the newcomers. But before we get to that, thank you so much for allowing me to bring a little scare to your holiday season. I hope it helps everything go a little smoother, having something chilling to listen to while you're buying gifts, running errands, working extra shifts, or traveling. Tomorrow we'll have an episode of Cutting Deep into Horror all about one of my favorite Christmas horror films, Dead Air, and maybe a little extra story under the tree. And Saturday we'll have a compilation of Christmas horrors to make sure you have no shortage of spooky. So please make sure you're subscribed on your favorite podcasting app. And if you want to support us directly, I would consider it a Christmas present. Just head to weeklyspooky.com/join, and for as little as $1 a month, get 2 bonus episodes every month, as well as my undying gratitude and over 5 years of exclusive audiobooks and creepypastas at weeklyspooky.com/join. But now, as for tonight, all right, my spookies, pull in close, because this story isn't just a Christmas nightmare. Strickfield is about to give you something you've been asking for. Raigen, the one they call the Angel of Death. Now what if I told you she was back? Back like a cold breath on your neck when you're alone in the snow. Like a switch flipped, and suddenly the body count starts climbing. And what if this Christmas the Angel of Death wasn't facing a serial killer, but a monster of a different type? A thing that's loose and hungry, crawling out from a burning chemical wreck. Tonight we witness a holiday story of Raigen's bloodlust in its early, violent beginnings. So keep your lights low, lock your doors tight, and let's see what happens when the angel returns. You may want to get something warm to drink, because this one is a doozy. An Angel of Death Christmas by Rob Fields. 2015. A truck from Strickfield Chemicals was barreling down State Route 1 after 8 p.m. on Christmas Eve. The snow had been coming down steadily all day. It was a wonder that the driver wasn't weaving all over the road. But they would eventually start doing that very thing. and not because of the winter weather. Buck Weathers had been driving for Strickfield Chemicals for several years. He was such a company man that Preston Mirren, the owner of Strickfield Chemicals, gave him the special jobs, the ones that Preston gladly paid whatever amount Buck wanted, to dispose of certain chemicals. Preston told Buck where he wanted them dumped, gave him half the money up front, then the rest when the job was finished. Buck always delivered results, which was why Preston never had a problem giving him the cash he demanded. On Christmas Eve night, however, Buck was struggling to keep his eyes on the road. Even the coffee he had been drinking wasn't helping, which was strange since he'd always relied on it to keep him going through the late hours. Unfortunately for Buck, the need for caffeine wasn't the reason why he was having trouble focusing on the road. Buck had taken the truck that Preston had prepared for him. Unbeknownst to Buck, a small section near the compartment had corroded enough to let the toxic waste leak out, slowly. To make matters worse, the fumes from the highly dangerous waste were overpowering Buck's senses. Soon, they would overpower him completely, unless he stopped and got out. Unfortunately, he had no clue what was happening or what was about to happen. On that same Ohio highway, Detective Chantel Devereux was on her way back from Strickfield after handling another tough case for Chief Jeffrey Kazmarek. Chantal was listening to Christmas songs and getting into the mood for what was to come when she got home. She knew that her 3 daughters were waiting for her. Her oldest child, Gregor, had become more and more hostile towards her. He had continuously blamed Chantal for his father's death. The rift between them continued to grow wider, and the worst was yet to come. She was often hurt by Gregor's words and actions, but she put that pain behind her by focusing on her eldest daughter, Raigen, and her twin daughters, Rouge and Lavender. Even though she might feel the urge to cry over Gregor at times, she truly believed that one day they would reconcile. Chantal was the top detective at the North Ridgeway Police Department, where she currently served. Every once in a while, Chief Kazmarek from Strickfield asked Chief Monty Cobb if he could borrow Chantal when a case became too tough for his own detectives to solve. How many times had Chief Cobbs sent her to Strickfield? She didn't mind it so much. She liked Jeffrey, and the two of them always got along as friends, even with him being a superior officer. Chantal was navigating the snow-covered roads quite well in her Corvette, keeping her eyes peeled for any oncoming cars. Then her eyes went wide when she saw the bright neon green fire blazing just ahead. She braked hard and brought her car to a quick stop. She got on her phone and called her home department to send the necessary help, including fire trucks. Chantal couldn't believe the color of the fire itself. She got out of her car and approached the scene. She could go no further, but could clearly make out the skeletons of what used to be a chemical truck and an SUV that had collided head-on. She felt sad there was nothing she herself could do to save any of these people. There were 2 skeletons of what were probably the husband and wife in the front. Chantal covered her nose against the stench. She had been a top detective long enough to sense when someone was approaching her. She whirled around to see. Oh God! The only way Chantal could have described the horrifying creature was as something straight out of a cheesy science fiction movie. Its insides glowed as green as the flames from the truck. Its skin had melted away enough to reveal parts of its skeleton that glowed just as green. It reached out for Chantal and gurgled something incoherent, then finished with a wet moan. Chantal ran to her car and retrieved her sidearm as it shambled after her. She raised her weapon and yelled, "Get your fucking ass back, right now!" The creature casually lifted a huge rock, like it was a beach ball, and hurled it at her. Chantal dropped flat and let it sail over her, then rolled and sprang back up to her feet before the creature could even touch her. It gurgled something, as if trying to speak. It made it very clear that it was intent on killing Chantal when it stopped and projectile vomited toward her. Chantal shrieked as she barely avoided the toxic bile. She landed on her backside and saw the vomit melt through the snow where it hit. She scrambled up as the creature bore down on her. Soon, the North Ridgeway police and firefighters arrived on the scene. When they saw the creature that was trying to kill Chantal, the police didn't think twice and immediately opened fire with their sidearms. Bullets had absolutely no effect on the creature whatsoever. Unfortunately, one of the officers had gotten too close. Before Chantal could yell, the creature grabbed him, making him utter a blood-curdling scream. Then it hugged the officer to itself, melting the man's skin into its own chemically mutated body. The police continued firing on the creature, with the same lack of results. The firefighters turned their hoses on it, slowing it down. Chantal had been watching everything and had an idea that the officers hadn't tried. She stepped forward, raised her sidearm, and fired a single bullet right between its blank green eyes. The creature dropped onto its back instantly and didn't move again. In fact, whatever was left of its toxic flesh melted away from the body, leaving only a gross, browning skeleton. Soon, even the skeleton itself began to melt. Chantal stayed on site until the fire had been extinguished. In the end, there were no corpses whatsoever. When no remains were found in the SUV, it was determined that the flames had burned the occupants until not even ashes were left. Chantal herself was taken to Ridgeway Heights Memorial Hospital to be examined for any kind of contamination. She prayed she would be okay. She did not want to worry her kids. She knew they could take care of themselves, but she was a mother, after all. She wanted to be there for them until they decided to go out into the world on their own, which she knew wouldn't be long. Gregor was out of high school but seemed ready to leave home at any given time. At this point, Raigen was a junior, and the twins were sophomores at Ridgeway High. Even though Chantal knew this threat was over, she had a deep feeling that the incident itself wasn't. Little did she realize just how right her feeling was. 2016. It seems lately I've been doing a lot of my special work before cheerleading at high school functions, We're on holiday break from school, but the building is still open for extracurricular activities. It's the Friday night of Christmas weekend, and we've got to cheer for the North Ridgeway boys basketball team against Ridgeway Heights in our yearly rivalry game known as the Battle of the Ridgeways. But first, I've got my latest victim secured to a workbench. How many times do you hear about hit-and-run incidents? For that matter, how many times do you see such incidents? Just 2 days ago downtown, a little girl walked away from her mother as mom was getting her little boy situated in the back seat. The girl wandered out into the street. A guy driving a muscle car came flying around a curve. I'll leave you to connect the dots from there. My younger sisters, Rouge and Lavender, were horrified by the hit and run. If I had emotions, I suppose if I had emotions, I would feel the same way. I could pretend to feel what they felt, but it's not the same thing. We saw what kind of muscle car it was, but I had seen the license plate and could easily recall it with my highly photographic memory. In order to find the driver, all I had to do was run the plate using Mom's computer. Now I've got Hayden Burns secured to a workbench in his family's garage. For once, I don't need to explain to my victim what he did, not when I show him the various newspapers covering this story. I'm sorry, he manages to choke out. If that's true, you would have remained on site, I counter. But no, you squealed tires and peeled out without thinking twice about it. I figured I'd find you here at home, being the holiday break and all. You didn't come home for a few days, evading the police, but here you are now. What are you gonna do? He squeaks. For a big, beefy basketball player from my high school, he sure isn't so high and mighty now. Yes, I know it's the Christmas season, but that's not the reason why I'm letting Hayden Burns live. One, even though he accidentally killed an innocent little girl, then drove away, he actually regrets it. That's a first for a hit-and-run predator. Mom heard about it from Rouge and Lavender. I can only imagine how she felt. Just looking at her, she was especially upset. For the record, Hayden can't see my face or hair, thanks to the mask I'm wearing. I even wrapped up my breasts tightly so he wouldn't have an accurate description to give the police. I'm sure he knows I'm the serial killer the press has dubbed the Angel of Death. Hayden closes his eyes, fearing the worst. He'll soon realize that I'm gone. I waited to see Mom pull into the driveway along with a beat cop. Then they'll find Hayden nice and secure in his family's garage. I watched Mom read Hayden his rights and arrest him. Had he not shown regret, Mom would have found only what was left of him. I can count on one hand how many times I've let my victims live. As for how Mom found him, I simply made one of my anonymous phone calls from a burner telling her exactly where to find him. As for me, I remove my dark outfit and unwrap my chest so I can put on my cheerleading uniform. From there, I meet up with the twins and the others at the basketball game. The game goes well enough. No matter how much we cheer, North Ridgeway loses this year's Battle of the Ridgeways, but not by much. These two teams will meet one more time to end their regular seasons in the Erie Shore Conference. As it turns out, I do have a circle of friends here in North Ridgeway, more like friends and family. After I finish my shower, Beatrice Sherwood, everybody calls her B, comes over to talk to me while we get dressed. I've heard people say B is like a Japanese anime character. B herself isn't Japanese, but her face can somehow contort to the emotional states of, well, anime characters. B becomes more animated the more emotional she gets. Today she's talking about one of our friends and ramping up. I'm telling you, Rage, I'm tired of Chester Willis always thinking he's right about everything, B mutters. As I'm listening to B rant, I remember hearing how the two of them first met. Late last winter, Chester told me how B went into the wrong shower after arriving late. Chester was still in there, since he was late too. He tried to explain to B that she was in the wrong locker room. I could only imagine the two of them arguing while they were naked in front of each other. She even ended the argument by pointing at him and becoming animated when she yelled, "I'll bite your face off!" The truth is, B isn't a bad person. She's just very opinionated and always believes she's right. She's even admitted her parents think she's quite a handful. I quickly diffuse B by reminding her that we agreed to go to Vanson's for a late breakfast. When we finish our showers and get dressed, we see Chester Willis waiting for us. This time he's got Rouge and Lavender sitting on either side of him. As of late, it seems like the twins have taken a bit of an interest in Chester. I've been living with my sisters their whole lives, and people think they're quite weird. Keep listening and you might understand why. Chester himself never judged them, though. Maybe that's why the twins give him their full attention when he talks. Chester is a nerdy guy who always wears dark trousers, a button-up shirt with a vest, a bow tie, and loafers, all punctuated by his glasses. You just know people at school give him a hard time, but he often just brushes it off. After his family moved here last year, Chester and I became lab partners in our science class. Since I don't have it in me to be repulsed by him the way normal girls are, I often had pleasant conversations with him. We became friends and started hanging out together. Seeing him and B arguing led me to believe they don't really hate each other. They're what you call frenemies. Looks like you girls cheered another great game, Chester says. You ready to hit Vanson's? I know I am. B glares at Chester, noticing how close the twins are sitting to him. She points at him accusingly. Oh, so now Rage ain't good enough for you, huh? Now you're looking to score her sisters? What, you got some fantasy about scoring with twin cheerleaders? Real original. Chester just gives B his usual look that says he's used to her crazy accusations by now. Don't you look at me like that, Chester. When B clenches her teeth and growls, I can see where she looks like an anime character. Then she points at him and tells the twins, "He stared at me naked once in the shower for like a whole hour." Chester sighs. You were in the wrong locker room. I was trying to get you to leave, but you just wouldn't go. How many times do I have to keep telling you that? The twins burst out laughing. B rapidly points from one twin to the other. What's so funny, huh? The twins stop laughing and smile mischievously. You, they say together. Then Lavender turns to Chester. We'll be glad to give you a personal show. Just name the time and place, Rouge finishes. What's interesting about the twins is that they always seem to be together, never too far apart. They always seem to know what the other is thinking because they finish each other's sentences, or they speak in unison. It's as if the two of them truly are separate halves of a whole person. And yes, I can tell them apart, even though they dress the same and have the same hairstyle. They don't have any identifying marks, but I just know. Even Mom gives me that jealous look when she can't tell them apart. Bee has more trouble wrapping her head around the twins than anyone I know. She wants to yell at them, and they're waiting for her to do it. In truth, the only thing that really gets to them is when the other is threatened in some way. I feel Rouge is more the aggressor, while Lavender is more passive. "Want to be our date for tonight?" The twins purr to Chester together. Lavender takes his hand. "Two's always better than one, right?" Chester puts an arm around each twin. "Okay, ladies, sure. Why not?" Bee scowls and points a shaky finger right at Chester. "Oh, you sexist pig." Chester smiles. "I can always marry you after graduation, Bee. Then I can add you to my growing collection of anime figures." Bee growls at him. "You just keep it up. I'll bite your face off, Chester." When Bee's about ready to lunge at him, Lavender immediately strikes and kisses her on the cheek. Bee staggers back and looks at both of them. Then she turns to me. "They're both crazy, Rage. And they're my sisters, Bee. I promise you, they're not going anywhere. Except to Vanson's." Lavender interjects. "Let's go," Rouge adds. We leave North Ridgeway High and get in Chester's SUV. Soon we arrive at Vanson's and head inside. Only a few of the booths are occupied. Normally this place is packed after a game. "It's Christmas weekend," Tegan Andrews calls out from behind the counter. "People usually tend to be doing other things around this time. You guys can sit wherever. You want your usual coffees?" "Sure," Chester tells her. The five of us sit at one of the tables in the center. Tegan brings us waters and coffees as she takes our orders. Bee still can't believe Chester has a twin on either side of him. The girls seem like they're interested. I can't tell for sure. If it turns out Chester likes them too, well, he'll have his hands quite full. Bee points at him. "Yeah, you just keep enjoying the fantasy. Just wait till the joke's over." The twins look right at her, and they appear insulted. "Are you saying we're a couple of players?" Rouge asks. "That we would just tease Chester here and laugh at him later?" Lavender finishes. Then the twins slowly get up and suddenly look menacing. They move to either side of Bee, glaring. Lavender starts. "Okay, Bee, you asked for this," Rouge finishes. Suddenly, the twins lash out and get Bee laughing fast when they start tickling her. Bee's spent plenty of nights at our house since she came to North Ridgeway High around the same time Chester did. That's been plenty of time for the twins to learn her main weaknesses. When Bee's crying and ready to fall out of her chair, they stop and return to Chester's sides. When Bee calms down, she glares at them. "I hate you two." I raise a finger. Bee. Being my best friend means putting up with the rest of the family." When she looks at me, I make a joke. "Imagine if Chester married the twins. Then he'd be family. Guess that means you couldn't bite his face off." Bee gawks now, Then she looks at Chester, points at him, and whispers so only we can hear. "Womanizer." Chester laughs. "You kill me, B, you know that? But I already told you, I'm marrying you. I want you so bad." Before B can return fire, the twins have something to say about that and grab his attention. Rouge starts. "You marry B? Never gonna happen." Lavender finishes. Now they turn and glare at B. "He's ours," they say together. B starts growling again, but before she can snap at the twins, Tegan arrives with our breakfasts. I can't feel emotions, but I do have physical sensations. The look and smell of the pancakes makes my tummy rumble. As I'm reaching for the strawberry syrup, I see today's newspaper that was left behind by a previous patron and read the headline. "Officer found, melted at home." "Focus, Rage," Lavender says. "Fresh pancakes in front of you," Rouge finishes. I don't look up from the paper, but I point across the table. "And Chester in between you two." I only need to skim the article to commit the whole thing to memory. I'll read it in full later when I'm at home. I don't need people here getting suspicious about what I do in my private time. I have a feeling I'm going to hear Mom talk about this later. Little did I realize just how involved I would end up in all of this. Christmas Eve. It seems like no matter how much or how little sleep I get, my mind always knows to wake me up at 7 a.m. I don't have cheerleading practice or a game for the next 2 days, but it's always 7 a.m., just the same. I peek in on the twins and see they're both still sleeping soundly. Then I head downstairs and find Mom having her morning coffee and looking over yesterday's paper again. "Mornin', baby," she says as she sees me enter. "Tough case?" I ask. She's really frustrated when she takes another drink of coffee and realizes her cup is empty. "I got it," I tell her. "Looks like I'll have to make a fresh pot." "You always know just how to make it," she says gratefully. I make Mom's coffee extra strong. When I face her again, she tells me about the officer who was melted. He was in his patrol car downtown when someone shattered his window and placed a hand on his face. The skull itself had a burned handprint. The rest of the skin on the body was all melted and, as my mother described it, looked like goopy, wet candle wax. What on earth could even begin to do that? When Mom looks ready to lose her mind, I pick up her cup and top it off with the fresh brew. She takes the cup and drinks, never mind that it's fresh and hot. Then again, Mom loves her hot and spicy foods, same as the twins. "How does this fucker do it, baby?" She's ready to slam the cup down, but stops herself. "I don't mean to yell at you." She looks at me again. "I've dealt with cases where fellow officers have been gunned down, run over, died from a heart attack, even an occasional automobile accident." She growls and drinks more hot coffee down. "I've been shot, I've been stabbed, I've been hit by cars. I've even been in fights to the death with creatures of the night, but melted. Melted." She closes her eyes and calms down. "More coffee, baby." I take the cup from her and fill it up again. "Like you always tell us, think outside the box." She sighs and takes her cup. "I know what I said. What I do know for sure is someone intentionally targeted Officer Bach. No one just does what this fucker did out of the blue." For the record, I'm used to Mom being coarse. She's talked that way for as long as I've known her. She's never cared if any of us kids use words like that, as long as we know when and where not to use them. Mom doesn't even really care if we bring boys home to spend the night. She's pretty lenient with us, until we cross the lines. Only Gregor ever did that, and he always did it on purpose. After last Christmas, he no longer lives at home. It's just us sisters and the wild cougar herself. Mom's frustration bubbles up again. If that ain't enough, Chief Cobbs is sending this sexy hot mama back to Strickfield. In other words, he doesn't want me anywhere near this thing. He knows it's got something to do with that shit that happened a year ago today. I remember you telling me, I say, taking the empty cup from her again. More? She nods. Mom is definitely a mess. To her credit, at least she doesn't go off the deep end when she's worked up like this. She's binging on coffee, not cigarettes, booze, or drugs. I get another pot going. So you're headed to Strickfield? I ask. When? Soon as I'm done venting to you, baby, she answers. I don't know how I understand what Mom needs sometimes, but I go and hug her. Oh, baby. Mom calms down and hugs me back. You know what an insufferable bitch I can be. You know I'm always vicing on coffee. You know I'm a literal man-eater. Yet you babies all put up with my shit. I could tell her that I can put up with absolutely anything she throws my way since I can't feel emotions, but I've learned how to help Mom when it comes to certain things. Just hugging her like this calms her down more than the coffee. Even though I consider myself a primal girl, I do understand some things about the human condition. Because you're our mom, I tell her. She squeezes me a little. I always want to do right by you babies. Being a mama is the one thing I'll never regret. When we come apart, she looks me over. I want some grandbabies, you know? I fake a smile. Someday, maybe. I have to find my ideal mate first. She just looks at me. You sound like a cave girl. What about Chester? I know the two of you get along quite well. Then a voice calls out from the hallway. Chester? Did he call? The other twin finishes. Rouge and Lavender come into the kitchen in their oversized t-shirts, one of the few things they wear in their own signature colors. I give Mom an uneasy smirk and point to the twins with my thumb. Chester might become your son-in-law someday, Mom, but it'll be because he married them. Mom gives the twins a scowl. Seriously? Are you two sharing boys again? What did I tell you both about that? Why not? They answer in unison. Then Lavender starts. Chester actually told us that together we're the perfect woman. Rouge finishes. When the twins look at each other, I still wonder if they truly feel emotions for Chester. I imagine he'll want to talk to me about them later. He confides in me about pretty much everything. Then the twins go to Mom and hug her together. She squeezes them both. My babies, I love you all so much. I don't think any of us have ever said that back to Mom, but I think she knows the feeling is mutual. When the twins squeeze her back, I myself can't feel love, but I understand that this woman carried me inside her body for 6 months and raised me into adulthood. I was premature. I know I owe her everything. If Mom ever needs me to take care of her, then there's no question of my loyalty. But Mom still wants to take care of us and raise her future grandchildren. She's calm enough now. I make her a to-go cup for her drive to Strickfield. She promises us she'll be home tonight for Christmas Eve and home all day on Christmas. The three of us watch Mom get in her Corvette and drive away. You two seriously have feelings for Chester? I ask the twins. They look at me and give a single romantic sigh, making me wonder if they are truly two halves of a single person. Seriously, they never fight. They're always together. They watch out for each other. They never mind sharing a guy on a date together. While guys might find this a perfect sexual fantasy, they don't want to be in a long-term relationship with twins. I'm thinking that is what they're looking for. The twins divide the rest of the coffee between them and go into the living room to watch TV. Holy shit! They speak in unison, like they're sharing a thought. Rage, get in here! I walk over to them and see the news. Mrs. Overton, our cheerleading coach, was found dead in her home. The news crews are outside. This young reporter from Strickfield named Miranda Mason Phillips was first on the scene to cover it. The front door looks like someone burned right through it to get in. You can see the outline of a human shape. Watching the story further, I don't get to see the body. It's already in a bag. Mason Phillips said the body's flesh was grossly melted, just the same as that cop that Mom lost her shit over earlier. Without thinking, I get up and grab one of Mom's high school yearbooks. I open it to find some rather interesting pictures. It's amazing what you can reference with a highly photographic memory like mine. Long ago, Mom mentioned she went to her senior prom with David Bach. Linda Moore was Mom's best friend. She married Dale Overton, the man Mom set her up with, as her prom date. There is definitely a link here. She also mentioned the incident that happened on Christmas Eve last year, out on State Route 1. This man, Buck Weathers, caused a bad accident while driving a chemical truck. I still remember every word of that article, like I had just read it. The chemical truck crashed head-on into a car, coming in the opposite direction. It was believed the chemical truck exploded on impact. Then the flames overwhelmed both vehicles, burning everybody inside. Somehow the green fire mutated Weathers into a mindless thing with melted skin and a glowing skeleton. Mom was the one who put Weathers down, but not before he melted a North Ridgeway cop who got too close. Not much of anything scares Mom, but Buck Weathers definitely spooked her. She even tried to nail Preston Murin, the owner of Strickfield Chemicals, for the incident. Unfortunately, Mom would not win. There was just no proof of negligence. Also, Murin himself paid all the costs for Weathers' funeral, even though there was nothing to bury. The chemicals themselves burned up completely in the accident, so there was no way of knowing what they were exactly. After Mom shot Weathers, the body melted away, bones and all. I tried investigating Preston Murin myself. Since I can't be 100% sure of his involvement, I can't pass judgment on him. I won't take the chance of killing an innocent. But thanks to Mom, I've learned many of her detective skills and applied them to my work. I take a deep breath when I feel my bloodlust pushing me to find and claim this chemically created killer. "You okay, Rage?" Lavender asks. "You look like you're horny," Rouge adds. They suddenly look at each other, as if realizing something, then say, "Do you finally have a boyfriend?" If only a boyfriend was the issue I had to worry about. I can never let my mother or sisters know. I'm a serial killer. I flipped them both off. Yeah, guess you two suck at reading people, or you figured out I'm fucking Chester. The twins scream like banshees and charge me. They both tackle me onto my back. Now they're looking down at me. Rouge starts. Trust us, Rage. You need to get laid, Lavender finishes. Maybe I do, I mutter. After they get off me and help me up, I grab a soda out of the refrigerator and head out. I don't tell the twins, but I do message Chester and tell him I need to talk. He tells me I can come over after noon. Chester invites me to sit on his bed while he's at the computer. Then he takes my hand. Are you all right, Rage? When he sees I'm in need, he understands. I'm guessing you saw the paper last night. And the news a little while ago, I add. I still can't believe someone like you is a serial killer, he says. I wish you hadn't learned my secret, I reply. I'm usually good about covering my tracks after I pass judgment. The problem is I let Chester Willis get too close to me. The more we talked, the more we became friends. I appreciate the companionship he gives me when we're together. The two of us could talk about almost anything for hours. He's called me both his friend and his intellectual peer. How did he learn my secret? It was just after I destroyed Annie Judge back in September. Chester didn't know her true nature as a drug dealer and a sexual predator, and was devastated to learn that about his favorite teacher at our school. As Chester was talking to me about her, he noticed I was unmoved. Then, just like that, he came to me and kissed me on the lips. He stopped to look at me when I didn't react. At that moment, he knew I had killed Annie Judge, and that I was the angel of death. He could tell that I was emotionless, and he felt sorry for me. Since I killed only bad people, he said he'd keep my secret, which now only he knows. He also told me he wanted to help me. Since he was already kissing me, I offered to have sex with him. He admitted he was tempted and thanked me for the offer, but said he didn't become my friend simply for the hope of sleeping with me. He said he truly liked me and loved our conversations, and that he deeply respected me for my mind, especially when he found it difficult to beat me at the games we would play together. What do you think? Chester asks now. I'm guessing someone's after your mom. I nod once. I concluded that myself. The question is whether or not this person knows Mom isn't in North Ridgeway right now. You know, if you're right about this, there's a chance we can learn who this person is here. His expression changes. But if that's the case, you yourself might be in danger. Maybe even the twins. That means the killer would definitely be targeting Mom. I agree. Of course, I can't be afraid for myself, Chester. But I don't want anything to happen to my sisters. Or to you. He sighs. I think your sisters are both crazy and interesting, and I like them. I don't want anything happening to them either. And I especially don't want anything happening to you, Rage. Mom thinks you'll be her son-in-law someday, I tell him, which means you better watch yourself around the twins. I may not have emotions, but if they truly like you, I don't want you to hurt them. He gives me a surprised look. Really? Me and them? 2 girls at the same time? If you don't reciprocate their feelings, then don't lead them on, I advise him. No, I wouldn't do that, Rage. he replies. I just never thought, wow. Then he returns to the matter at hand. I think we should look more into the accident from last year. I can't put my finger on it yet, but I think the answer's there. But we know it isn't Buck Weathers, I say. After Mom shot him in the head, his body melted away. Though still, Mom would think outside the box, and we need to as well. Chester suddenly has an idea and lays flat on his back on the floor. Okay, I'm Buck Weathers and you're your mom. Now, I'm melting away here after you've put me down. Chester's making me think again. Then I shake my head slowly. Doing what Mom said, well, the only way I can think of where it could be Weathers would be, maybe Mom didn't kill him after all. Maybe he could control himself enough to liquefy and reform later, when nobody was around. He reconstitutes himself. He decides to wait 1 year, tonight, to come for revenge on Mom. Chester looks up at me. Have I ever told you how beautiful you are when you're thinking? 38 times, as of right now, I reply instantly. 37 was last week. I really love that photographic memory of yours, he says excitedly as he gets back up. I'm so jealous. You're no slouch either, I remind him. Did you gain anything while we were reenacting last Christmas Eve? I came up with the same thing you did, but he shakes his head. It's not logical. It's just not. He gives me a stern look. That's like saying vampires are real. They are, I tell him without hesitation. I've actually killed a few. Chester looks at me like he's waiting for me to say I'm joking. When my expression doesn't change, he gives me a weird look. You always have to be so damn honest. I can lie for you sometime, I offer. Chester gently pulls me to him. This isn't the first time. He continues to feel sympathy for me, since I can't feel emotions. I hold him in kind, mainly because he's a great friend and companion. We come apart and face each other. I'll always be here for you. He's told me this before, too. Then he sighs. I really wish you could feel something, anything. I can feel things that are physical, I remind him. Chester groans. I wish you could feel how incredibly frustrating this case is. I can see how frustrating it is for you. So, to a degree, I can experience what other people feel, but in a physical sense. Like you, I feel we've hit a stumbling block. I hate those things, Rage, he says. I'm supposed to be competing with you for the coveted spot of valedictorian. We're currently numbers 1 and 2 in the senior class, and we can't solve this thing? Well, I still believe in what Mom says about thinking outside the box, I tell him. You'd have to, since you said vampires are real. Then he sighs. Okay, we're not giving up here. There's got to be something neither of us is thinking of. Before I can answer him, my phone rings. It's Cam's mom. Hold on. Cameron Drexel is our cheerleading captain. Don't tell me you're calling for us to have practice today, I say, trying to sound like a normal high school girl. Mrs. Drexel? What's going on? No, I haven't seen Cam since yesterday's game. Chester watches intently as I talk to Cam's mom. Since hearing is a physical sense, I can understand her tones of anguish and worry. When the conversation is finished, I put the phone down and address Chester. Cam never came home last night, he translates. I raise an eyebrow. Perceptive as always. Then Chester and I have a twins moment, when we actually think the same thing at the exact same time. Chester powers off his computer before we leave his house and make our way to North Ridgeway High to check on our hunch. "I can't believe how easily you can do that," Chester says after I pick the lock and get us inside. "Comes with being me," I reply. When we're in the basement, we walk out into the hallway. Then we cut through the cafeteria and get to the area where the locker rooms are. We walk into the girls. We have a twins moment and stop at the exact same time again. "The shower's running," Chester whispers. I nod. Then he sees me pulling out my knife. In the daylight coming in from outside, I can see Chester's face. He's jealous that I can't be afraid. I've told Chester not to come with me on jobs like this, but he cares too much. That's when I again feel the physical part of me that is glad for his companionship. The two of us walk through the locker room, the sound of the showers getting louder. Chester's ready to go in and look, but I stop him. I point to myself, then to my eyes, to indicate I'd better look first. He nods and pulls out his retractable baton. At least he knows to arm himself when we're out like this. I pull out my phone and use the light to illuminate the shower. Then I see it and turn to Chester. "You're warned if you come in here." His jaw drops. "Did you find—" "Yes," I confirm. Then he takes a deep breath and enters. "Oh God!" Looking at the hair, I know it was Cam Drexel. Like the other victims, the skin is completely melted into what looks like pus. Chester reaches out and tilts my wrist a little to better light up what he just saw. Bloody footprints. We look at each other. I can tell he's scared, but he won't abandon me. He gulps and nods, telling me he's ready to follow me straight into hell itself. I tell Chester to stay behind me as we follow the footprints. They go in the opposite direction from the way we came in. Suddenly I stop and make Chester as well. I tell him over my shoulder, whoever it is still here. These prints are fresh. "You're right," he chokes out. We both hear something wet close by. Chester shrieks when he sees the glowing thing emerge. It's a gruesome, bloody, meaty creature with melted flesh slowly oozing and dripping off its body. We can see its muscles and bones. We can hear its heart beating. Its eyes are still in their sockets as the thing looks directly at us. Seeing the bumps on its chest tells me it's female. Before I can tell Chester, the thing stretches its arms out towards us. "Come to me, Raigen." The voice is wet and gurgling, like Mom described Buck Weathers' voice a year ago. Then it hisses something gross as it comes at us. Chester screams like he's in a horror movie. While it's true that I don't feel fear, that doesn't mean I'm stupid. I know I'm as good as dead if that thing gets its gross hands on us. Chester suddenly doubles over and throws up. No doubt it's from the awful smell of that thing. The best way I can describe the odor is a mix of decomposition and pure acid. I don't have time to see if Chester's okay, but I won't leave him here to die. Since I can't be afraid, I have no problem jumping up and kicking that thing right in between its breasts. It cries out and falls, sliding a little on its back along the floor. I quickly turn back when I see my shoe sole bubbling and nearly gone. I yank it off. "Chester, get up!" I yell. Chester dry heaves before he forces himself back to his feet. He staggers along as I'm moving him back to where we came in. He pulls himself together as we move back through the cafeteria and out into the hallway. We hear the wet noises and gurgling and see that thing coming after us. It raises a slimy arm and points. "I won't stop until I've tasted your lovely skin, Raigen." "What do you want with her?" Chester yells. "What did she do to you?" Suddenly, the thing belts out a disgusting, bile-like blast from its mouth. You would have thought Linda Blair from The Exorcist was portraying this thing. The bile lands on the floor directly in front of us and starts burning and eating through the tiles. "Aw, shit! Run, Rage!" Chester yells. We turn and run to the stairs and race up to the first floor. We hear the thing right behind. As we're turning a corner, we barely miss getting hit by another burst of projectile bile. After nearly tripping while running with one shoe, I decide to lose the other and go barefoot. I have another quick idea and turn around. "Keep moving, Chester!" I yell, heaving my knife right at that thing. The blade hits its mark, square in the thing's chest, and knocks it onto its back. I rush to catch up to Chester. We dart into a classroom. When he pulls the door shut, I quickly shove the teacher's desk right in front of it. Since the door opens outward, the desk won't do much. Maybe slow it down a little. Not thinking twice, I run to one of the windows and smash it with my fist. I look to see the door burning away, like someone's literally dissolving right through it. "Move, Chester! Get out the window!" I command him. He looks at me and shakes his head. "No way, I won't leave you here to die." "Don't worry about me," I tell him. "I'll be right behind you. Now get out of here." The thing is coming in now. The door was no match for its acid bile. It could have easily opened the door and walked in. I think it wanted to show us what it could do. Safe to say it probably disintegrated my knife. Now it points right at me. "I'm in so much pain, non-stop," the thing rasps. "I can never be human again. After I get my hands on you, I'll go after the twins. Then your mom will know what it's like to lose everything." "Go!" I tell Chester. "Not without you." He insists again. Without hesitation, I shove him through the window. All I can do to keep that thing from touching me is to quickly pull a student's desk to me and shove it right at it. Then, as the thing has to knock it aside, I turn and dive right out. Chester's there to help me up. He gasps when we both see the thing glowing bright in the window. "I'll get you, Raigen." It gurgles in as close to a yell as it can manage. "Let's get out of here," Chester says. I don't argue with him and we escape from the high school. That thing can't run to catch us, and it knows it. We hear a loud, disgusting scream behind us. When we get far enough away, we stop to collect ourselves. "I thought things like this only happened in Strickfield," Chester groans. "That glowing thing was really real. Just like vampires," I remind him. Chester laughs a little. "Oh man. At least we know what that thing wants and where it came from," I point out. "Should we call your mom?" Chester asks. No, I don't want her panicking. I know Mom would do anything to protect me, but I don't want her to risk her life. What's to say Chantal isn't already pursuing that thing herself? Chester points out. We both know how determined she can get. You're not wrong, I agree. Then I have a sudden thought. That thing may likely go after the twins, maybe even B. I turn back in the direction of the school. I won't let that thing take my family. Chester grabs my wrist. How are you going to stop it? With what? You don't even have your knife anymore. Or even shoes. My mind, I tell him simply. And where do our minds get shaped? You yourself could stop that thing. He gives me his usual look when we're on the same page. Chemistry lab. That's what you're thinking, right? Uh-huh. 10-1, we're not going to be able to stop that thing with just what's in our high school lab, he says. Perhaps not, but maybe we can get some data on how to stop it, I tell him. And if not, then you have to remember one other thing. It's still human, in spite of its mutations. We can stop that thing. You and me. I'm willing to bet it's still inside the school. If not, I'm sure we'll be able to track it while there's still daylight. He sighs. I really wish you knew how much I envy the fact that you're never afraid. Be careful what you wish for, I warn him. My not having fear is a double-edged sword. I couldn't tell you how many times it's gotten me into trouble. Kind of like how I almost don't feel pain. We look at each other for a long moment. Chester sighs again. Okay, Rage. Let's go back to the school. It's not hard to retrace our steps, even without my photographic memory. We make it back to the school and through the basement window again. As Chester lowers himself through, I stop him. Let's go around the building and make sure it didn't leave, I suggest. If it did, we should be able to track it. Chester nods and raises his finger. Good thinking. He points to the window. Whoa, I just realized. What if that thing was right there, waiting for me as I climbed in? Now you're thinking, I compliment him. Let's split up and go around the school. We'll meet out front. And keep that baton handy. It won't stop that thing, but it's better than having no weapon at all. We split up and cautiously move around the building. So far, I'm not seeing any chemical or bloody footprints. Then I see Chester as we converge by the front steps. Nothing, he tells me. Same. I look at the building. That thing is definitely still inside. Too bad we can't see where it's at by its radioactive glow. It must be hiding. I guess we go in the way we got in earlier. Chester stops me. I can see he's truly afraid for me, but I'm about to find out it goes deeper than that when he gently pulls me to him and kisses me. The first time he did this, it was to determine my true nature, and it was an empty kiss. This kiss isn't long, but it's to the point. Now he looks at me. I love you, Rage. I know, I reply. Remember, I can read your feelings through your facial expressions and your actions. Chester gets bold and kisses me again, holding me to him this time. I respond to his feelings by holding him gently and kissing him back. I wish I could feel something for Chester emotionally. However, I'm not opposed to experiencing the physical with him. I've only had sex a few times and gained no satisfaction from it. But when we stop kissing again, I know he wants to tell me we should call the police or Mom. But I plan on killing that thing for sure. It'll satisfy my bloodlust. For many years, the dark passenger that lives inside me has pushed me time and time again to claim many victims. Each kill I make gives my bloodlust a feeling of satisfaction. Perhaps this is the closest thing I feel to emotions. More than anything right now, I want that thing's life. I make sure we're in the clear before we go back into the school. Chester lets me go ahead of him to scout. I've learned a lot through my years of being a serial killer. That thing won't catch me on my worst day. Chester and I return to the girls' locker room. What's left of Cam's body is still in the shower, water still raining down on it. We are careful as we follow the thing's footsteps. No matter what precautions we take, neither of us is ready for the surprise waiting for us when we get to the gym. I can see a glowing word on the concrete walls. "Oh shit," he gasps when he reads it. Twins. We know right then what that thing means. I go to one of the exit doors and pick the padlock. Chester's almost to me when I raise my hand for him to stop. Then I pull the door shut. We both nod once to each other, knowing that that thing is still here in the school, somewhere. I motion for him to come with me. We go to where the baseball bats are stored. I pick the lock so we have our choice of weapons. There's a good possibility these bats won't help us against that thing, but it's better than going after it bare-handed. Plus, the bats are bigger than Chester's baton. Knowing the thing is likely stalking us, we move through the school until we make it to the chemistry lab. Once we're inside, we pull the door closed. We can't really block it, since it opens outward. At least we'll know if the thing is coming. There weren't any bloody footprints that we could see. On our way to the lab, Chester and I look around. Between the two of us, we cook up a batch of test tube weapons we can maybe use against that thing. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot to work with, meaning we have to make these count. You'd think that thing would have come for us by now, Chester says. It's got to know we're here. I was just thinking the same thing, I reply. Suddenly, Chester screams when the thing drops down almost on top of us, having melted its way through the floor above. We both get some of that thing's blood on us and have to remove our upper garments fast. Now Chester's only wearing his wife-beater, and I'm in my bra. The clothing we stripped off burned away quickly until practically nothing was left. "Just let me touch you both," the thing gurgles. "More flesh for me to devour." "Get away from me," Chester shrieks. "Shit, what are you?" Chester and I quickly back away. I throw one of my test tubes at that thing's face. When it shatters, the liquid inside splashes the creature, and it turns to me. "Are you serious?" it gurgles. We don't have much time to think when it suddenly projectile vomits at us again. Chester shoves me out of the way and dives to the floor. He gets back to his feet and runs, not wanting that thing to touch him. It's shambling after me now. "Nice tits." "Oh, you like them?" I pull the cups of my bra down and expose my breasts. "Peek-a-boob." The thing is surprised and actually pauses what it's doing, which allows Chester to come up behind and blast it with a fire extinguisher, making it cry out in surprise. After I pull my bra back up, Chester drops the empty extinguisher and follows me out of the classroom. Chester reminds me why I appreciate him as my intellectual peer. When he grabs a chair, after closing the door, he jams it under the knob. "Good thinking," I compliment him. "Let's go," he says. That thing is melting right through the door and the chair. We know we're not going to be able to beat it with the few test tubes that we have left or with our bats. Then, I have an idea. I pull out my phone and quickly text Chester what I'm thinking. I'm going back to the gym, I tell him. Not before I do, Chester counters. I got your text. I'll be ready, I know, Chester. I will, I promise. He gives me a quick peck on the lips before running off. I turn back around to see the thing shambling toward me. I'll have your beautiful skin, Raigen. The thing gurgles. I would have thought the thing might projectile vomit at me again, but I think it can only do that so many times. It probably needs to reload, so to speak, probably from consuming another body. Speaking of, just what the hell is going on in here? A voice yells. I saw all kinds of lights moving from room to room outside. What are you kids doing here? The school is closed. When I see it's Tom Arbors, one of the janitors, wearing a Santa Claus suit, I remember he rings the bell for the Salvation Army out at Denoyer's Grill every holiday season. I quickly yell his way, "Get the hell out of here!" When the thing appears, Arbors sees how it glows as it shambles towards him. "Oh, give me a break," he groans. "It's Christmas Eve. I ain't got time to be dealing with this Halloween horse shit from you dumb kids." "That thing will kill you," I yell. "Run!" I throw my last 2 test tubes and hit the thing on the back of the head. Unfortunately, it does not distract the creature. Not when easy prey is so close. You'd think Arbors would flee, slow as that thing is, but he's too ignorant and thinks that glowing creature isn't real. I try using my baseball bat, but it catches the end of it, yanks it from me, and disintegrates it. And still Arbors refuses to believe and keeps standing there. In fact, he pulls out his cell phone. "I mean it," he yells at it. "I'll call the..." Too late. Yummy. Yes. It moans like it's having the most delicious feast. Arbors continues to scream and bleeds out fast. To describe what that thing is doing, it's eating the flesh off the janitor by simply touching him. The chemicals it secretes are breaking down the flesh and letting the thing absorb whatever nutrients Arbors had into its own body. He finally stops screaming as his flesh continues to seemingly melt away. Even the Santa suit dissolves, much like our clothes that were destroyed. His vital organs begin to liquefy. This is what that thing did to all those people, including Cam. Soon the janitor is nothing more than a yellowish-brown skeleton, wearing a Santa cap and black boots. The thing lets it collapse into a pile on the floor. "Thanks, Santa," it gurgles, sounding almost grateful. Now it turns its attention back to me. "Now, where were we?" I turn and run. After a moment, I stop and look back. Soon the thing comes around the corner and sees me. When I blow it a kiss, it hisses and shambles after me even faster. I move again when I need to, keeping enough distance for that thing to see me, but to avoid its toxic vomit. I return to the gym and run back inside. It doesn't take long for that thing to burn right through the doors. When I reach the doors on the opposite side, I shake them. "Shit. Locked," I cry out, before turning to face that thing with my back to the doors. It's inside now, making the dark gym glow bright.
You should just get naked. I'd much rather enjoy your flesh without the clothes anyway.
Hey, you greasy bitch! Over here! A voice calls out. The thing looks to see Chester standing at the entrance to the equipment room. He looks over at me and nods once. I turn back around and easily open the doors.
What?
The thing gurgles, realizing that I tricked it. I must have done a good job pretending to be scared. Then the thing screams after Chester approaches it and blasts it with another fire extinguisher. I move out into the hallway to the other equipment room on that side. I find what I'm looking for and come back out. After the thing recovers from Chester's attack, it looks right at me as I'm aiming a bow and arrow at it. If that thing could smile, but it gurgles with laughter instead.
Haven't you learned anything from when you threw that knife at me? Nothing can kill me.
I lock eyes with it. I don't know your name, but let the punishment fit the crime. Without a second thought, I fire the arrow right into the thing's heart. It glares right at me, before beginning to disintegrate the arrow. Then I remember what happened to my knife earlier, and quickly knock a second arrow as it shambles toward me. It hisses and stretches out its skeletal hands. Then I recall what Mom told me about how she killed Buck Weathers. I raise my bow's aim slightly and fire. The thing gasps and stands still for the longest time. It gurgles briefly before its skeletal legs give out, dropping it to the floor. At the same time, I feel my bloodlust being satisfied, and I moan softly. The thing looks right at me, even though it can no longer see. Then some strange liquid starts pooling underneath the skeleton as its glow dims. Careful, Rage, Chester warns me. Noted, I reply, arming another arrow. The thing never moves again over the next several minutes. Since I felt my bloodlust being satisfied, that was confirmation that the thing is finally dead. I lower the bow and arrow and hand them to Chester. Suddenly, the gym lights come on bright. "Hold it right there," a voice shouts. "Oh shit!" Chester chokes out as he slowly raises his hands as all these cops storm in. Then he quickly points at what's left of that thing. "We didn't do that." The cop who yelled tells Chester to shut up and starts reading him his rights. "Let them go!" A familiar voice calls out. "Mom!" I call back. She comes to us and throws her arms around me. "Baby, you're safe." I hug Mom back. "We're okay. Chester and I stopped that thing." "Detective Devereux!" another officer shouts in protest as she hugs Chester. Mom backs away from him and points at the cop. "You do not test me, asshole. Now back off. I'm taking these two home." "We'll have to question them first, detective," another detective informs her. "It'll be okay, Mom," I assure her. Mom nods reluctantly. Chester and I are then escorted out of our high school and to a squad car. We're taken to the station to be questioned about this afternoon. Let's just say we were in the interrogation room until it got dark. When we were finally done, Mom brought us home. Chester and I are in my room talking about things. I gave him a t-shirt Gregor left behind when he moved out. Anyway, Mom definitely had some interesting information to share with us. While Chester and I were dealing with that female monster thing, Mom wasn't in Strickfield after all. In fact, Chester and I overheard Mom getting into it with Chief Cobbs over disobeying a direct order. Long story short, Mom didn't get suspended or reprimanded, especially not when she told Chief Cobbs, "Absolutely no one comes in between me and my babies." I stressed referring to that thing as female because Mom said she had pursued and killed a male one earlier today, about an hour before the police found Chester and I. We didn't talk too much about the female one. We didn't want Mom to get an idea about our own investigation. I love my mother in my own emotionless way, but I do understand that it would devastate her to know she'd given birth to and raised a serial killer. Mom and the twins must never know. The only conclusion Chester and I could come up with was about that couple in the car that supposedly burned to death a year ago. We reasoned that those green flames had something to do with them not actually dying. They were pronounced dead when their bodies were never found inside the car. It was assumed the flames completely destroyed them. A positive ID was never made, then or now. The bodies both melted into goo after they were killed, the same as Buck Weathers after Mom took care of him. We reasoned the couple escaped from the car. Since it was snowing heavily that day, it likely covered up their tracks. They were badly burned and mutated by those chemical flames, just like Buck Weathers. "I'm sure glad that's over," Chester says. "I don't think I'll ever forget that thing we saw tonight." I know I'll never forget for sure. Having my highly photographic memory means once I see something, it's in my brain forever. Seeing Chester's face, I know tonight is going to stay with him for some time. I take his hand and try to comfort him. "You going to be okay?" He squeezes my hand a little and shrugs. "I don't know. First there was that thing. Then you told me vampires are real. Anything else I should know about?" I shake my head. I know those things are real for sure. I wouldn't be surprised, however, if other things we've only heard about in stories or in movies were real now, too. I look at the clock. It's getting late. I can walk you down to the front door, or I could even walk you home. Chester smiles. "Yeah, your family'll be home to have Christmas Eve together. I'm sure my parents will be expecting me home soon, too." When we get up, we find ourselves still holding hands. We stare at each other. And then Chester kisses me again. I should tell Chester that this isn't a good idea. But I kiss him back. I know Chester wants to make love to me. Likewise, I do desire him physically. When we come apart, he looks at me. "I'm sorry, Rage. I can't help how I feel about you," he tells me. I let go of his hand to move my door and close it and lock it. Chester can't believe it when he sees me undressing. Once I'm naked, I move to the bed and pull back the covers. I look at him expectantly. He gets naked and joins me in bed. From there, I let him make love to me. We must have dozed off for a bit, but we soon wake up. I'm resting with my head on Chester's shoulder. Then he fully realizes what just happened. "I'm sorry, Rage," he says. "I only wanted to be your friend. I I didn't mean for this to happen. I look up at him. Don't be sorry. I'm not. We sit up. I'm willing to give you a chance to explore your feelings for me. But you can't feel anything, Rage, Chester says, caressing the side of my face. I hold his hand there. You're right. I can't feel what you feel. However, I desire these physical sensations you give me. In that, I can at least give you something in return. Knowing he hasn't lost me, we share another kiss. Raigen, Chester, are you here? I hear Mom calling from downstairs. Yeah, Mom, we'll be down in a minute, I call back. I better get out of here before your mom shoots me, Chester says. She won't, I assure him. I'll talk to her. He caresses my face again. I was joking, Rage. We get out of bed and dressed. We share one more kiss before I walk him downstairs. Sure enough, Mom doesn't give Chester a hard time. The look on his face says she knows exactly what we just did. You can stay with Raigen if you want, Mom says sincerely. But know if you ever hurt my baby, there won't be anywhere you can run to escape this sexy hot mama. We clear? Yes, ma'am, he stammers quickly. She points at him sharply. You ever call me ma'am again, and you'll be out on your ass. I told you before. Call me Chantel. I'm a mama, not an old lady. Remember that. He almost repeats himself, but I nudge his arm. Yes, Chantel. I'm going to walk him home, Mom, I tell her. I'll be back shortly. Then I notice. Where are the twins? They just texted me and said they were on their way home, Mom answers. I sent them to Wilder's Market to get some things. Sure am glad they stay open later on Christmas Eve. Just then, the back door opens. The twins come in with Bee, and they're all carrying lots of stuff. Mom turns back to Chester. Are you sure you won't stay? I really don't mind. It's nice to have this big house full of people on Christmas Eve. Chester sighs. Okay, Chantel. You talked me into it. There's never much going on at my house on Christmas Eve anyway. Thank you. It ends up being a full house with Mom, Chester, and us cheerleaders. At times, Bee and Chester give each other their usual frenemy looks. Aside from that, Bee hasn't said much of anything. What's wrong, Bee? Mom asks. You've been looking pretty down since you got here. It's Christmas Eve and we're about to have dinner. Bee sighs. I just can't believe Cam's gone. And the way she died. In the shower at our school. Red flag. Now my eyes are right on Bee. How would you know about Cam? It hasn't made the paper or the news yet. Other than Mom, Chester and I are the only ones here who know. Cam's dead? Rouge asks in shock. Seriously? Lavender gasps. Mom's definitely alert now. Raigen's right. How would you know that? Did you go into the school at some point today? I take over. If you did, you would have to have heard all the commotion that was going on when we were there, with that thing chasing us, Bee. You would have to have seen that thing, as bright as it glowed in the dark. I quickly point to Rouge and Lavender. Get away from Bee, right now, both of you. The twins don't argue and do what their big sis tells them. Bee gives us this weird look. I know how Cam died because Mom and I both fed off her. Just like I'm going to feed off all of you tonight. That's why Rage and I didn't find any bloody footprints outside, Chester figures out. Then he points to Bee. You obviously can become human, so you did, and left. Before we could see you. I'm right with him, figuring it out. It wasn't just the two people in the car a year ago tonight. You were in the car too. Maybe in the back seat. Correct. I was in the back seat when that chemical truck hit us, B explains. The truck exploded immediately, and we all burned alive, but that green fire did something to us. We couldn't die, but burning just hurt like hell. B stands up and points to Mom. It's not exactly fair that we became freaks while you got to go home to your babies, as you call them. When Mom grabs for her gun, B retches projectile vomit. Mom lets out a scream and dives out of the way. Then B's skin starts melting, like it's made of wax. I'm gonna bite off all your faces. Then I'm going to have your skins for Christmas dinner. B roars as her skin melts away further and her clothes dissolve instantly. She looks just like her now deceased parents did. She's covered in disgusting blood and melted flesh while her muscles and bones are exposed. Even her eyes are still in their sockets. B walks toward Mom, her arms outstretched. She's leaving bloody footprints all over the dining room floor, and they're melting the tile as she moves. Mom grabs anything she can get her hands on and heaves them at B. The thing either swats them away with a quickness her parents never showed, or she catches the items and melts them to nothing. In fact, she's actually walking normally, not shambling at all. I will have my revenge, B gurgles. It wasn't fair. But it wasn't my fault, Mom yells. I arrived on the scene after the fact. I'm sincerely sorry for what happened to all of you. Sorry won't make me human again, B roars. It also won't bring back my parents you and Rage killed tonight. She raises her fists. I'm going to kill you all. Mom screams as she grabs a chair to hit B with. B surprises Mom by showing she's clearly stronger, in addition to being faster than her parents were. She's about to put her hands on Mom when I don't think twice and charge at B. I know I'm putting myself in terrible danger. My inability to feel fear is a double-edged sword. But Chantel Devereux is my mother, and she gave me life. I owe her. My life for hers. When B grabs hold of my arms, I barely feel her hands burning into my forearms. Not feeling pain is also a double-edged sword, but this time it works in my favor. I punch B square in her skull-like face and send her crashing right through a nearby window. She falls outside and lands on the snowy grass. In the darkness, her radioactive glow is quite evident. Chester pulls me into his arms. Rage! Jesus Christ, are you okay? He quickly looks at Mom. Call an ambulance. She's bleeding out. I look down and see that B burned my skin enough to draw blood. Mom grabs her phone to call for help. Baby, what are you doing? She yells when she sees me break away from Chester and dive right through the window. Raigen! I don't care if this thing pretended to be my best friend for a year. Tonight it targeted my family, and I'll die before I let it have them. Raigen, for fuck's sake, get away from her! Mom frantically begs me. I just called for backup and an ambulance. Just get away from her! I can't feel it. I can't say that I feel it, but I must tell the most important woman in my life. I love you, Mom.
How touching, the thing mocks. I've been keeping an eye on B. When she starts to projectile vomit at me, I drop kick her in the gut. She chokes on her own deadly vomit and gags as she falls to her knees. You'd swear she was choking on a big piece of steak or something. As for me, I just lost another pair of shoes when I kick off these rapidly melting ones. It burns, she manages to say while clutching her throat. Just then, Chester is outside with me. Rage, come on! Let me take you to a hospital. You're hurt bad. I glare at him. I won't let B get my family. Or you. Seeing that Chester pulled out his baton, I snatch it from him and get a few good hits on B. She's still in pain as she keeps choking on her own vomit. I crack her hard on the head, knocking her flat on her back. When the baton suddenly catches fire, I drop it. Rage! Chester yells and snatches me to him. You're bleeding out fast! I don't care. I push him away. I will protect my family, no matter what. Chester tightens his fists in frustration. I love you! I won't let you die! Now I see the twins gawking at me from inside the dining room. I can now clearly see that they truly have feelings for Chester. For a brief moment, they give me hurt looks. Then they remember I'm out here fighting for them. Next thing I know, the twins disappear from the window. Babies! I hear Mom yell. What the fuck are you doing? Get back in here! Then that thing gags as it finally coughs up the rest of its bile and sits back up. I'm not that easily beaten, Rage, B gurgles. Then she points at us. I'm gonna bite both of your faces off. Then I hear one twin call out. Like hell, you will. The other one finishes. The twins are outside with Chester and I, and they have Mom's gun. They're both holding it together and aiming at that thing. Rouge using her left hand and Lavender using her right. Without a second thought, they fire at its heart, together. B cries out and falls on her back. Like her parents, she refuses to die. Then the twins glare at both of us. You knew we cared about Chester, big sis, Lavender yells. But you took him for yourself anyway. Rouge growls. Chester turns to them. Be pissed at her all you want. It was never going to be about the three of us. I like you both, but it was always about Rage. I love her. The twins look really pissed now. They raise the gun together, pointing directly at Chester. Lavender made eye contact with Chester. Get out of the way, you dumbass, Rouge finishes. Chester quickly drops to the grass as the twins squeeze the trigger and catch B in the heart again, just as she had gotten up and was about to grab him. Aim for the head, I tell the twins, as I'm starting to feel faint. Without a second thought, the twins advance together and aim the gun. Beatrice Sherwood, let the punishment fit the crime, I say, before the twins drop her, once and for all, with a point-blank shot between the eyes. Give me that right now, Mom shrieks. The twins disengage. Lavender hands the firearm back to Mom, saying, We had to save our big sister, Rouge finishes. She's our family, Mom, they say together. Mom takes a moment and calms down. Then she hugs the twins to her. My babies. I don't feel it when everything suddenly goes dark. I think I felt myself fall and land on my back. Maybe Chester was right about my bleeding out after all. That was my last thought before I die. Epilogue. Clearly, I didn't die, because I wake up to find I'm at the North Ridgeway Municipal Hospital. My arms are wrapped up and I feel a lot better. Chester is at my bedside. "You're awake," he says excitedly. I wasn't in a coma, was I? I ask, still trying to wake up. "No, the doctor said he'd monitor you. He said you'd probably wake up after your transfusion." I feel him squeezing my hand. "You lost a lot of blood. You were tested for radiation poisoning too, and any other contamination. You're okay there too, just the burns from when B grabbed a hold of you." "Are you insane, Rage? You could have been killed." I squeeze his hand back. "They're my family, Chester. I would die for them." Then I remember Rouge and Lavender. Before, I wondered if the twins were just joking about sharing you as their boyfriend. I see I'm still not perfect when it comes to trying to read emotions. They truly did feel for you, and I came in between you three. Chester shakes his head slowly. "Didn't you hear me tell them there would never be anything with the three of us? They heard me tell you that I love you." I let Chester come and kiss me. I kiss him back. I'm feeling the desire to let him have my body again. I just want to please him the way he wants to please me, love me, but I just can't feel for him the way he does. And I should probably heal up. When we come apart, he checks his phone. "Your mom's here. She and your sisters were with Chief Cobbs answering questions. I really hope there's not another one of those things walking around out there. I hope B didn't have any other siblings in the back seat with her." He turns and leaves. No doubt to get my family. Without a second thought, I pull out the IV needles and free myself from the instruments monitoring me. I know I've caused dissension between Chester and the twins, and I know I worried Mom. Then I remember how my older half-brother, Gregor, became angry with me for defending Mom when he lost his shit and tried to attack her. When Gregor lashed out, I stepped in between them and took the fist meant for her. I know Gregor blames Mom for his father's death. I don't know what exactly happened to make him feel such hostility towards her. He'd always been a bad seed since we were kids. He refused to call his 3 half-sisters his siblings. I could tell he really hurt Mom more than he hurt me. Gregor didn't stop there. He grabbed me, shoved me to the floor, and kept pummeling me as hard as he could. Mom finally pulled him off of me and knocked him on his ass. Then she screamed for him to get out. He gladly obeyed her, and Mom sobbed and cried as she held me, knowing I'd taken that beating for her. I didn't feel the pain whatsoever, but I had bruises to show for it. Chantel Devereux gave me life, and I owed her that life. This was on Christmas Day of last year. The chemical truck accident was the day before. Then Gregor's assault that very next day. Now I've made the twins angry with me. Looking at the clock, it's after midnight. It's officially Christmas Day. All I understand is that I myself have been the center of pain and sadness in our family during what's supposed to be a joyous time of year. There should be celebrations, not suffering. Without a second thought, I get dressed and leave the room. I'm walking out into the night as it's snowing. I'll stop by the house and get some things. I know enough to be able to survive and make my own way in the world. I'll live in isolation, off the grid and off the land, as I continue my work punishing the guilty. It'll be all I have left, since all I am on the inside is just defective. Raigen! I stop after hearing Mom screaming behind me. A few seconds later, she's right in front of me. Just what the fuck do you think you're doing? Leaving, I tell her. I've caused enough pain and suffering in this family since last Christmas, and I won't be the cause of any more. Mom looks dumbfounded. She shakes her head. Don't you ever say that again, baby. She hugs me tightly to her. I don't know where you got those feelings, but you are not running away. You are part of this family. She eases me back to look me in the eyes. I love you with everything I have to offer. She looks past me to the twins. You babies too. I carried all of you in my body. I brought you into this world. I did everything I had to do to raise you babies and give you the lives you deserved. I will never, never, never regret a single moment with any of you. You babies are my very life. Mom starts crying now. I can't believe you all grew up on me so fast. I don't want to lose any of you. I don't want you to ever leave home. You babies are all I have in this world. She takes a deep breath. Raigen, what happened with Gregor had nothing to do with you. I've tried and tried so hard to reason with him. What happened to his father still hurts me today, but I know it wasn't my fault. Your brother blames me for his death after all these years. I never thought he'd actually try to assault me. It hurt me so much more knowing that you had to defend me, Raigen. Mom sniffles and shakes her head. You are not the reason, baby. Don't ever think that. Now I want you to come home with us. I want all of us to have Christmas together. Like a family. Please, Raigen. When I feel the twins on either side of me, the next thing I know they're both squeezing me at the same time. We're sorry, they say together. Lavender and I'll be just fine, Rouge says. It's clear Chester loves you. We can't hold that against you. Lavender adds. You're still our big sis, they say together. And you always will be, Rouge finishes. So that was it. I misinterpreted emotions. I guess there's still room for improvement there. If I had left the family, I would have hurt them even worse than when Gregor hurt Mom. I think if I could feel, I would feel great pain and sadness, knowing that I had wrongfully hurt my family. I suppose my constant numbness is the closest thing I have to those feelings. Thank you, I tell my family. And I'm sorry. After some silence, Mom looks past me again. Chester, you coming home with us? I turn to him and take his hand. Please. He nods. Yeah, why not? I just got a text from my parents saying they're still with my aunt and uncle at their house. Said they'll probably be back late. Not much going on at my house on Christmas Eve. I let Chester know I still want to try by kissing him. We hold each other and kiss longer. I think it's safe to say that Chester Willis is my first real boyfriend now. I'm hoping that maybe being with him will trigger something inside me to finally make me feel my first emotions. We go back to the house, where we have a late dinner, or early depending on how you look at it. As it turns out, Mom had the twins pick up dinner from Wilder's Market here in town, since she didn't have time to prepare a meal herself. We all enjoyed each other's company. As for presents, we wouldn't open those until later, when it's daylight. I think things are going to change for the better when it comes to the holidays from now on. I know I at least want to be here, in this house, until the time comes when I leave for Strickfield University next fall. I suppose I'll be leaving Mom to go out into the real world then. But I know my dark passenger will never depart from me. The work will continue. There are evil souls that await my judgment, and I shall be there to deliver it. But not today. Today is Christmas, and today is for family, because now, even I understand that there's nothing more important than family. Merry Christmas.
And that's where we leave Strickfield for this holiday season. Snow still falling, sirens fading, and Raigen and Rage slipping back into the dark like she never left. But don't go anywhere, Spookies, because tomorrow, on Cutting Deep into Horror, myself and Rachel are taking a hard left turn down a road you do not want to be on, with a full deep dive of Dead End from 2003, a late-night drive, a wrong turn, a stretch of road that feels endless, and the kind of dread that creeps in slow until it's sitting right beside you in the back seat. So buckle up, keep your tank full, and maybe don't take the back roads. And if you love what we do here at Weekly Spooky and want to get 2 bonus shows every single month, head to weeklyspooky.com/join. Sign up today and join over 90 other spookies in supporting the show, and an extra special thank you to the Patreon podcast boosters, folks who pay just a little bit more to hear their names at the end of the show. And they are Johnny Nix, Kate and Lulu, Jessica Fuller, Mike Eschewy, Jenny Green, Amber Hansford, Karen Weemet, Jack Kerr, and Craig Cohen. Thank you all so much for your support, and if you want to hear your name at the end of every episode of Weekly Spooky, just go to weeklyspooky.com/join and sign up at the $15 a month or higher tier. You'll get my undying gratitude, and I'd appreciate it as a little something under my tree. But now it's time for me to get back to it, my spookies, because there is so much more to do until our last holiday story unveils on Christmas Eve. So, for myself, for my executive producers Rob Fields and Bobbletopia.com, my producer Dan Wilder, and of course, my creepy composer Ray Mattis, I'll see you tomorrow. Until then, don't get melted.
Thank you for listening. Make sure to find your way back next week. But for now, you are safe. Trust me.